things about working on a production is, especially a production in educational theater, is that you want to make sure that your student leadership really confidently can execute the various responsibilities. And two of the most tricky jobs in that category of tricky student leadership responsibilities is the stage manager and the assistant director.
I'm Ila Cox, and I'm stage managing the Trojan Women. As a student leader, I help with setting up timers, working with our directors and coaches in communicating with the cast. But honestly, I don't work as closely with the cast as much as I do with tech. And as a stage manager, I definitely streamline communication to some degree.
So for this side of student leadership, I take a lot of notes on the process. I am in close working with the directors to see what they want and what their goals are. A lot of it is just learning how the blocking process works, how directors work and think and stuff like that. So my first show with student leadership in the past 2 years was Something Rotten, and that was my first time assistant directing, and I really loved it. It was a lot of fun. It was a musical, so it's like amplified of what's going on around you, all of the different elements. I really loved it. And then I special effects designed Romeo and Juliet in the spring of last year. I'm the fog consultant for our department, and I designed props and special effects for Cinderella.
So assistant directors work with the cast in acting intentions. They sometimes block scenes, giving notes, helping the cast with movements and understanding different perspectives. So it's more nitty-gritty within the actual acting situation. I don't interact with the actors as much as an assistant director. I take blocking notations, I take rehearsal report notes, I communicate with tech and across the board. So we work very closely together to keep communication between cast and tech very consistent. But other than that, our jobs are actually quite different.
So the stage manager runs the show. She takes a lot of notes on blocking and stuff like that. She tracks where all the actors are. A responsibility we both share is we both can do line pass-offs, so making sure the actors are fully memorized and can prove that to us. But otherwise, she calls all the cues. She has all of the tech week process, whereas my job kind of ends once the show starts. So once we're doing actual performances, my job is over and it's handed off to her. She is then in charge of the show.
The stage manager is there from minute one of rehearsals because there is nobody in the entire show who should know it better than the stage manager. And the reason for that is, if we were to use a metaphor, the director is the architect, the designer of a ship. But a director does not sail the ship. A director builds it. The captain that sails it is the stage manager. If you are the student in question, you have to make sure that you are an authority figure and that you can handle a rehearsal room, because I, as the director, might say, hey, in this particular case, Bella is our assistant director for this production, and I might say, hey Bella, I want you to take this scene, I want you to take it to another room, these are the things that I want you to help the actors work on. And then I expect that when that scene comes back, she can tell me, this is what we worked on, these are the things that I think they're still struggling with, this is what's improved or what is not improved or whatever the case may be. And that can be tricky because when you're entrusted with that responsibility as a student, you have to walk that fine line between being in charge of your peers and also still being technically their peer. And it takes a particular kind of student with a particular degree of self-confidence and humility at the same time to be able to walk that line, which is something I think Bella's really effective at.